a report on our martial arts good for kids to learn, and I was thinking if you could give me some tips or not.
Definitely.
Alright, so let's start.
Okay, whenever you're ready.
What do you think martial arts? Do you think martial arts are good for kids to learn?
I think martial arts is one of the activities that all kids should learn, right? For a few reasons. One, it develops kids' confidence. Confidence is very important in life nowadays because it helps you want to try new things. It helps you from bullies not wanting to pick on you, right? Another good thing about martial arts is about teaching about focus and concentration, which helps you study better in school, help you focus on other activities that you may have in other sports and other areas. And more importantly than all those things, martial arts teaches about respect. Not just learning to respect yourself, but respect other people and other things in this world, like even like animals and plants and life, right? So it's very important to learn those values that martial arts is here to teach you.
What are some downsides of martial arts you can think of?
Downsides to martial arts. I'm very biased. I actually don't think there's any downsides to martial arts. The only downsides to martial arts is when you join a school that is more focused on trying to grow the business to make a lot of money. And then what happens is they forget about learning and teaching the values that martial arts provides for kids when it becomes too much of a business and not more of a martial arts. So I think that's the only downside, that martial arts becomes so accessible that everyone's opening them up, and then they lose the sight of what the real martial arts is supposed to be about. So you get some bad schools out there, but you also get some really good schools out there. And it's very important that parents ask a lot of questions so they learn if that's a good school for their child or not.
Okay.
Good question.
One of mine was I was thinking like what if like other people use martial arts for wrong?
You mean like use it for being
Bullying.
bullying or being aggressive? Yeah, that's a very good question. Sometimes, not my experience that I find, when people learn martial arts, the purpose of learning martial arts is back to those things about respect. Sometimes bullies start martial arts and also they don't become bullies anymore because also they learn about compassion, about empathy. They learn about putting themselves in other people's shoes and how other people feel. And they stop picking on other people. And more importantly, when bullies pick on people, it's usually because they feel bad about themselves, right? When you feel better about yourself and build your confidence, you don't need to do those type of negative behavior or those negative things, right?
So, does martial arts help with studying like math and?
Well, there is no real correlation or studies or scientific proof behind it, but in my experience, I would say yes. Because what happens is when a child is more confident and able to focus more in class, they're not afraid to raise their hand and answer a question. And if they get it wrong, it's okay. They have the confidence that, I got it wrong. They look up the answer and then they're able to learn and go forward from there. And more importantly, it helps them concentrate a lot more. I know a lot of kids nowadays with playing video games on devices, their attention span is very small. So with martial arts, it helps you to focus in one area for a very long time, which is back to a little bit of a disciplining, right? Having discipline in your everyday activities, discipline in your training, discipline in your studies, right?
Okay. What martial arts do you think are better for kids than others?
What martial arts do I think is better for kids than others? In my opinion, I don't think there's one martial arts out there that's better than another, right? I think whether you call it martial arts, monkey martial arts, ABC martial arts, karate martial arts, anything like that, I think it boils down to three things, right? For all parents, if you're looking for a martial arts school, it should come down to the head instructor. Who is teaching and working with your child? Because that person is going to be a role model for them. That child's going to be looking up to that person. So you got to make sure that person that you're learning from is a very honorable and respectful person. And number two, it doesn't matter what the martial arts is because it depends on what the philosophy or the message that they're giving. So you go to martial arts school and they're really big on fighting and trying to be very aggressive, very competitive. They may not be a good place for your child unless they're like that. It may be a family martial arts school, it might be a very traditional school. So every school has its own philosophy and belief system. So it's very important that a parent, when they're searching for a school, they find a school that matches their own family values. And if it matches their own values and a good head instructor, that's probably the best place for your kid. There's one extra thing. You know what the third one is? Is you want to make sure the kid has fun. Right? If the kid's not having fun there's no point in going, right? So it's very important you have a good instructor, right? And then you also have to make sure you have a good philosophy. And then also the kid must be having fun when they're there. If you have those three things, that's probably a good place for your kid. Right? No matter what the martial arts is called or what it is.
Okay. Do you think martial arts are better than others though in different situations?
You know, I would say, I guess, yes, because sometimes if you are in a, say, physical confrontation and you're learning and you're standing up, it's very important to learn how to do some stand-up striking, like a kickboxing or boxing or stuff like that. And sometimes if you end up on the ground, it's very important to know how to do some wrestling or some grappling, right? So or judo, every martial arts has its own expertise in a specific area, right? So depending on the situation you end up in, certain martial arts is very good for that one situation or circumstance. Right?
Do you think martial arts are good for kids with different, like, advantages? Like, one is quick and, like, they're very good at focusing, like, and another one, they're not very good at focusing, but they're good at pivoting.
Yeah. That's a good thing about martial arts is that it's not a sport or an activity that benefits a certain specific type of child, a certain type of kid. Whether you are big, small, young, old, athletic, not athletic, coordinated, not coordinated, it's all there to develop each skill, right? To develop and grow the child. When I train in our school, we never compare one child to another child. We worry and focus on individual improvement, individual growth. So if you can do 10 push-ups today, and one person can do 20 push-ups, who cares? The fact that you can do 11 push-ups tomorrow, that's all I care. That you get better, not whether you can keep up with somebody else, right? Because we're all different people, and we learn to accept other people for who they are, then we can better, I guess, get along in this world, I guess. Want to get a bigger scope of philosophy.
What age do you think it's good enough to start martial arts?
I say we start as young as 3. We do an assessment. I think as long as a child can follow along with the lesson, it's not too distracting, they can definitely start martial arts, right? So we usually start at 3 years old for an assessment. Anybody younger than that, we sometimes ask them to wait a few more months before they can start.
I read it on a site that an age of 6 is good because at that point kids have enough like muscle strength to be able to punch, jump, and turn safely.
Yeah, that's probably a very good point. When kids are a little bit older, obviously they're always going to be stronger, a little more focused, a little more mature, right? But usually around 3 to 4 or 5 years old, what they focus on is, right now those kids at that age, they're a little bit uncoordinated, they're starting to learn about their bodies a little bit, so we help them a lot with balance drills, coordination drills, so that when they get to 6 to 7 years old and a little bit more mature and more focused, they're able to do the techniques that we're going to be teaching. So yeah, I would agree with that. About 6 or 7 years old is a good age because they're a little bit stronger and they're a little more mature. But you can start them a little bit younger, in my opinion, because I've seen very strong and talented 4 or 5 year olds too, physically in a sense.
What else does it do? Martial arts.
What else does it do?
Yeah. What does it give you?
For me personally, and I see in other kids, it gives them also a sense of direction and passion. Because what I find when kids train here, the kids stay with me for a very long time. In most martial arts schools, when you join, they quit after a year, 6 months, maybe a year and a half. But kids with me, they stay with me for 4 years to almost 10 years. And they stay with me till they go to university, or actually majority of them, right? And what I find with kids who stay with me for a very long time, they develop a better sense of who they are and what they want in life, right? So in martial arts, they call it a lifelong learning. It's just not taking punching you're learning, it's about teaching you life skills that you can take to other areas of your life, whether it's school, work, relationships, or just even other activities. So martial arts actually is very broad and very wide range in that sense. It's almost like it's very cultural in that sense too, right? A way of living, a way of life, a way of philosophy.
Okay. So, yeah. So, how does what do martial arts mean to you?
Martial arts means to me? That's a very good question. I don't know, I haven't really thought about that much anymore. I've been doing it for so long. Martial arts to me is like breathing now. It's just a part of who I am. I wake up, I'm a martial artist. Everything I do, everything I live for is basically being a martial artist. Because I get to stay healthy and active. I get to have a positive influence on a lot of people's lives. It gives me a platform to spread a positive message to many people. And more importantly, it's very rewarding because I get to see the benefits and the changes that I have in all these children that I have a chance to work with. I don't know if that answered your question, but...
It's good enough.
Good enough? Okay.
So is there anything else you would like to add to this?
You know, you asked a lot of very interesting and very good questions. I think you covered a lot of it. If I was to add anything to it, I would say a lot of times people think martial arts is very physical, right? Kicking and punching, push-ups and sit-ups. And it goes to that phrase you hear a lot of mind, body, and soul, or mental, physical, emotional. And I think martial arts is good because it covers those things, where physically, which is your body, it teaches you how to be strong. Mentally, or your mind, it teaches you how to be focused, how to be sharp. And in your soul, it teaches you about respect, how to be a good person, right? So I think the good thing about martial arts, it covers a wide range of everything you need to know to be, I guess, a good person in society and in life, right? And that's why you hear a lot of that phrase is like your body, mind, and soul. You gotta make sure all those three things are strong, or connected, or balanced is another word.
Advice for anyone who wants to start martial arts?
Yes, I would say, back to what I mentioned before, is to find a good martial arts school that is fun for you, that matches your family values, because every family is different, not every family is the same. What matches your family values, and find a really good instructor out there that's going to be working with you, right? That really understands you. Like me? Oh yeah, thank you. So that would be my message for anybody who wants to start martial arts, and don't be afraid to try, because most martial arts schools out there are very patient and will take the time to help you progress through their school.
So everyone who's watching this show.
Yeah, we will send a